Senator John Kennedy has just warned Canada over tariffs, told them exactly what they need to do before things get worse for them. And it is just classic. Senator John Kennedy has just sent a warning to Canada over tariffs and over their tough talk. He tells them exactly what they need to do before things get much, much worse for them. So we're going to get into it. My name is Clayton Kearns from TrendingPolitics.com. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. I think this user on Twitter here sums it up quite perfectly. He says, when this man talks, 3 things are going to happen. Number 1, you're going to chuckle. Number 2, you're going to nod. And number 3, you're going to wonder why the rest of Congress didn't think of that. John Kennedy always keeps it very simple, very to the point, and he speaks in just the perfect cadence that mesmerizes the audience from start to finish. So let's take a look at this. Right now we have Mark Carney as the Prime Minister of Canada, and he only has a few more weeks before the Canadian election. So we'll see what happens there. Kevin O'Leary seems to think that there's going to be a huge negotiation once that election is done. But no matter who is the next Prime Minister, Kennedy has a message for them on exactly what they need to do before things get really bad for them. So let's take a look at what he has to say. From start to finish, this is an absolute masterclass.
Canada and the United States of America do a lot of business with each other. In 2024, the United States sold to the people of Canada about $350 billion in goods. It's a lot of goods, $350 billion. Canada sold Canadian goods to the United States in the amount of $412 billion. So there's what we call a trade deficit of $63 billion. And then you drill a little deeper and you realize that the U.S. economy is 10 times bigger than the Canadian economy. And the population of the United States of America is 8 times bigger than the population of Canada. Canada has 41 million people. America has 340 million. So you step back for a second and you go, huh. Now, the United States is 8 times bigger, and our economy is 10 times larger than Canada's, but yet Canada is selling more of its goods into the United States than the United States is selling into Canada. Any fair-minded person would have to conclude, Mr. President, that it's because of tariffs. It's because the Canadian tariffs on American goods are higher than the American tariffs on Canadian goods. And that's what the dispute is all about. President Trump, who believes passionately in the virtue of tariffs, thinks that the tariffs ought to be equal, that there shouldn't be a trade deficit. Now, trade is very complicated, and I don't think that all trade deficits are bad. I'm also not saying that all trade deficits are good. Trade in the complex global economy today is very complex. But I see the president's point. I'm not suggesting that I agree with the president on everything about tariffs, but when you've got your neighboring country and good friend is 8 times smaller than you are, and in terms of population, it's 10 times smaller than you are, and your neighbor is selling $63 billion more in goods to you than you're selling to them, that seems kind of unfair. And the president, as we all know, has made that point very vociferously. In response, the Canadian government, the new Prime Minister Carney, he's pretty much bowed up. When President Trump said, well, the tariffs are uneven, so I'm going to raise American tariffs, President Carney has bowed up and said, well, President Trump, you don't believe in free trade. You're not a free trader. If you raise your tariffs, then I'm going to raise mine even more. And that's how you get into a trade war. And I don't want a trade war. And I don't think Prime Minister Carney wants a trade war. And I don't think President Trump wants a trade war. But I think Prime Minister Carney is wrong when he says that President Trump is not a free trader. President Trump is a free trader, but like most of us, he also believes in fair trading as well. So here's my respectful, gentle challenge to Prime Minister Carney tonight. Prime Minister Carney, you have criticized President Trump, and I see your point of view. You said because he's raising tariffs on Canada, that President Trump doesn't believe in free trade. You have said that he believes in tariffs. And you have said Mr. Carney, you're going to change your tariffs. I hope Prime Minister Carney does change his tariffs. But I hope he does so in a way that we have a race to the top and not to the bottom. Rather than the Prime Minister of Canada raising tariffs on the United States of America after the United States of America raises tariffs on Canada, which will cause us friends to have a trade war, I would respectfully suggest to the Prime Minister of Carney of Canada that he should reduce tariffs to zero. He should reduce all Canadian tariffs on United States goods to zero. And then turn to President Trump and say, I'm asking you to remove all tariffs on Canada as well. Now, if Prime Minister Carney believes in free trade, and I take him at his word that he does, and if President Trump believes in free trade, but fair trade, and I take him at his word that he does, then let's both go to zero. How much freer can trade be? How much fairer can trade be? Let's avoid a trade war. Let's let those good Canadian companies compete with good American companies in selling goods into the United States. And let's let those good American companies compete with those good Canadian companies in terms of selling goods into Canada. And may the best, cheapest product win. That's my respectful challenge to Prime Minister Carney tonight. If you think President Trump's being unfair and is not a free trader, then reduce your tariffs to zero. And ask President Trump to reduce our tariffs to zero on Canada. And let's go back to being friends again.
So there it is. He's straight up saying, Canada, if you want things to go well for you, reduce your tariffs to zero. We have a trade deficit and you are way smaller of a country and a way smaller of an economy than we are. We have all of the leverage here. So if you really want fair trade, then reduce your tariffs to zero. And we've already seen other countries doing this. In fact, Japan and Taiwan, they are on their way to the United States right now to negotiate new deals. And they have already said that they would do zero for zero tariffs. Isn't it quite interesting and ironic that everyone's saying that Trump just wants sky-high tariffs on everyone, when at the end of the day, this could result in tariff-free trading for everyone? Why is it okay for other countries to charge us tariffs? You know, we can't sell American dairy, butter, cheese to other countries, American rice to other countries without getting hit with a massive tariff. But they can do that to us. I don't understand. But when we do it for our own economy and our own workers, somehow we're trying to destroy the economy. It's the biggest irony in the world. Everyone's like, hey, tariffs are so bad for a country's economy. Then why do other countries have it on us? It makes absolutely no sense. So let me know what you think about Senator John Kennedy. This man always has something amazing to say. Literally, he just mesmerizes you with his speech every single time. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and make sure to like this video for more videos like this. I'll talk to you soon.